Hmm?
Oh, great. We got two more people. Yay.
Yeah. Hi, Shaz. I know Shaz has been talking to Shaz before. Hi, Shaz.
To go on, you all right?
Doing good, thanks. And we got Sarl. Hi, Sarl. I'll let you speak there. If you want to introduce yourself, no pressure.
Sorry about that. Yes, yeah, I can hear you, no problem. I just found this by chance now. This afternoon, I'm a member of the White Castles events group. So this, sounds like it's, might be, challenging in a good way.
Yeah, no, it's pushing. It's taking what we have and trying to like move things forward. Because what I see, and a lot of people agree with me, is that there's not much encouragement to move through the steps, as it were. If there's a career, if we're all amateurs getting
Yeah.
into this, concerned citizens, and we're up against the machine. We're up against the funded machine that is the training in PR, training and development. They're very good at networking. To the machine, it's a network. We're up against the network. I prefer to take the model of the cathedral, to see it as like an emergent system, but it's a human system. It's a human technocratic system, neoliberal technocratic system that we're up against, and it's international and it's globalist. And it's not one person or one group of people. There's various factions coming together. That there's tensions between those factions, but they can what they're good at is putting their differences aside to to subjugate their peoples, and the people who don't have power. And we can learn a lot from that, and not in terms of subjugating, but in terms of putting our differences aside and getting ourselves networked and pushing ourselves forward and training ourselves. So this is, I'm a lifelong learner, a lifelong believer in education and development, personal development, staff development, the growth mindset. So this is what I'm here to do, is to encourage the next step. And as I say, we're like an untrained citizenry, and there's a lot of talk about, as an untrained citizenry, we have been trained into consumerism. And you even see that in terms of how people react. Okay, there's a problem, but they're content to consume information about the problem and go into analyzing the problem and sharing more information about the problem. But there's about 1 or 2% of the people are actually interested in talking about solutions, unfortunately. So that's 1%. If I can even get 1% of the people, or another 1% of the people to start talking about solutions, or another 1% of the live streaming or conversation talking about solutions, I'll feel that I've done something. So did anybody get a chance to listen to any of the recording from yesterday that I've just put up on my YouTube channel, Galileo?
I just heard the tail end of it, just in the last half hour or so.
Oh, okay, Chris.
The one thing that strikes me, and it has struck me over the last 12, 13 months, is there's a lot of little groups, and everything is so fractured. Nobody's prepared to put differences aside and just join up and say, look, this is what we're trying to achieve, and this is what we should do. And the biggest problem that I've encountered is what I would term as ego. Everybody's ego is getting in the way of actually achieving anything, and that's a problem which is very frustrating for me, because I've been prepared in the last 13 months to get up off my seat and get out there and do something, be it something as minimal as the white rose stickering around the place, or just basically not complying where everywhere.
Okay, so Sarah, let's I'm going to invite you to kick this off with solutions. So take 2 minutes to headline a solution that you'd like to put forward. And it could be, if you don't have something in mind, it could be just describing what you're doing already and saying what you're planning to do next, or what your next move, what the next level will be, or maybe if you don't have anything in mind for that, then just what you've been doing and what you felt before, in the middle of it and after, to make it approachable for somebody who would like to do what you're doing but feels intimidated by it, to make it human for them. So there's 3 avenues that you could go in at. Go in for a solution, or what your next step is in terms of what you're going to do in terms of activity, or just tell us what you've been doing to allow other people.
Sure. I'll try and keep this quick. But the main thing is I had just have not been complying. I haven't worn a mask. I've refused to do the social distancing. I've met up with friends. I haven't stuck to the 5K lockdown or anything like that. I've also been trying to connect up with the disparate groups and connect the disparate groups up together, in order to make the front a bit more united and a bit larger. Now I've been in contact with people from all over the country who have their own little local networks, and it's really just been keeping in contact with them, and for any initiatives like contacting MEPs about this green passport thing, coordinating or helping out and something like that. Again, as I said, doing the white rose stickering, which is minimal impact, but it beats sort of sitting at home, as I say, being the keyboard warrior.
Well, it's a start. Yeah, it's a starting point for people. It's a way in. It's a way to take, to move from off the couch to actually doing something with like on the more minimal risk side. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So great. And how did you feel? I want to encourage people who are listening to this who would love to be doing that but think that they haven't got it in them. But I want to focus on the growth mindset that you possibly could, if and one way that people can is to hear the example of others, and to know that they were intimidated at first or they were frightened, and just talk through the emotions of it, the before and after.
Certainly going into a shop for the first time when the masks were mandated was intimidating, but my philosophy was, maybe because I'm a woman I can get away with it, smile and behave as if nothing is different, and just do my shopping. Okay, that people would 1 or 2 people came up saying, oh, you're killing people, and my response is, well, you're just expressing your fear to me, and you just walk away, and really just try not to engage with somebody who's angry and aggressive at me, because I know it's their fear, and their concerns, and I just didn't want to put it on myself. So I've always kept it very, very civil, friendly, and polite when dealing with people who get aggressive with me about not wearing a mask.
Cool, excellent. Okay. So maybe we'll have a think about what the next step might be for yourself, and maybe we'll come back round. I'm going to give people a chance to ask you questions or further your solution, or make comments to further your solution. So if anybody would like to, I think everybody's in a position that they can speak. So if anybody would like to ask a question, a non-critical question, a question that gets you more information about what Sarah is doing, or a comment to further her idea, go for it. Or offer encouragement.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Oops. Hi. How's everyone doing?
Okay, so let me go first.
Well, I was actually about to ask a question, if you don't mind.
Okay, Viking, go on ahead, Viking. Viking has the floor.
Well, okay. My question will be simple. No compliance.
I'm just going to mute the other microphones. Okay, Viking, we're having a problem. We're having a problem with getting you there, so I'm going to pass it back to little bit. While Viking sorting out his mic there, Viking, you're coming across.
Hello.
Little bit. You've got the floor.
Oh.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to ask Sorrel, could she expand a bit on the white rose thing? Because that sounds fascinating and something I think I would like to do. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Just if she could go into that in a bit more detail about the white rose stickering.
this is based on the White Rose group that was initially around in the Second World War, and it was just their thing was distributing subversive anti-Nazi pamphlets. This is along the similar lines. There's a Telegram group called the White Rose that you'd send them your address. They will send you some stickers with various slogans that you just put up around the place. I put them on bus stops, on lampposts, around there's a children's playground around near me, so I put it on the 2 meter social distancing big sign there. These are just little eye-catching things, questioning the narrative.
So does that answer your question a little bit?
Not very technically minded. Yes, it does. It actually sounds like a wonderful idea, because the way Sorrel describes it, you've got places where people would be sitting. And I know from my own personal self that if I'm sitting somewhere and I have to wait for a bus or in a doctor's surgery, I tend to read everything that's stuck to the walls. So if you've got a place where somebody has to sort of sit or they're static for a moment, if there's something there that would catch their eye, yay, go for it.
So I mean, it is very simple. Your stickers are sent to you, or you can get a box of 200. Literally anywhere that they stick on. As I said, I've done bus stops, bus shelters, lampposts, children's playgrounds, anywhere they will stick. And okay, some of them, when I've gone back, have been taken down, but I just keep putting more up.
Sometimes the simplest things are the most effective, aren't they?
Yeah. And it's
Okay,
an
great.
excuse
So
to get out and about. Sorry.
Yeah, and if you had a team of people doing it, then you could have a bit of fun. You could dare each other and give each other a bit of moral support as well. What part of the country are you in, Sorrel?
I'm in Dublin.
Okay, grand. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of people doing it around Dublin. You just have to find them. But it's something you can do on your own as well. Okay, wonderful. So who would like to? Thanks for that. And let's move on to have a look at another solution. We're going to give somebody 2 minutes to pitch their solution. Then we'll take a round of questions to get more information and build on the solution. But we're not going to criticize or judge. Okay. So who would like to go next? I think Viking, you had something you wanted to discuss.
Well, if Joe allows me.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so your mic seems to be going better this time. So I'm just going to ask everybody else to mute, and Viking, off you go.
Okay, well, the solution. Well, if we tell yesterday, she pretty much summed it up. But what I would add is, it all starts, as she said pretty much, it all starts by self-sufficient community, but what hasn't been mentioned yesterday, however, is that all those communities will be connected to one another in order to have some trade policy using agriculture.
Okay, Viking, I'm going to ask you to start from scratch, because we can't assume that people who are listening today were listening yesterday. So just to give a 2 minutes pitch to somebody who knows nothing, who's an Irish nationalist or an anti-lockdown follower, or both. Okay, so that's this is your audience, and they know nothing about what you're suggesting. So I want you to introduce it in 2 minutes to somebody who knows nothing about what has been said about this before. Yeah.
Okay. Enough. Okay, so let's go. So the things we start by aware people forming communities all together, pretty much preferably locally. But those communities, however, they will be connected to one another under the umbrella of a certain company, which I will not discuss right away, and that we should allow well, in few words, they will secure supply route, or supply line, I mean. And they would trade among themselves using certain cryptocurrencies, which would be tokens. Let's say, but in those communities, pretty much everyone will have. We need to be trading pretty much. There will be skill for skill, to put it roughly. Let's say you're an electrician, you're a plumber, you're a chef, for example, which is useful for conserving food. So after which, if you need services, you will go there, and there'll be tokens or chalkboard. See how you want it. And since you'll be under the umbrella of the company, they'll pretty much, I would say, they'll mitigate whatever is coming with the Great Reset. Because after all, it's going to be corporations will be ruling one another on pretty much everything. And since we already know what the World Economic Forum have in mind for us, I will give the benefit of the doubt to some, I would say, some outsider. It will start pretty much by self-sustenance. I don't know if I'm still above the 2 minutes, but I would say to cover the other objectives, they'll be a bit far off.
Okay, that's about 2 minutes. So now thank you very much. We'll take a round of questions or piggybacking. Piggybacking means take that idea and expand it further. So, yeah, floor's open.
Well, okay. So let's begin. So once you have all these communities, we should be under.
Viking, we're going to let other people come in and ask you questions or make a comment that takes your idea further. So I'm going to open the floor up to anybody if they want to ask a question to get more information, if they didn't understand some of it, which is quite, that's totally natural in the space of 2 minutes. You're not going to get everything. And we're not professional presenters either, so we could have left bits out or said bits not as clearly as we could have done, or we could take bits that we like and expand it. So,
sure.
I actually have heard that this is already happening in various parts of the country, that people are gathering together in what I term as communities like this. So, Viking is sort of saying, companies or corporations. So yes, it's the same thing, and it's also a lot of people I've been chatting to have said, yes, this is a great opportunity to relearn new skills and learn new skills that are practical, as against sitting behind a computer kind of skills. They're real practical skills, and I think this is definitely something that is taking off as we speak around the country. And as Viking said, it's just about connecting in and making sure that each group is connected with another group, and that is why communication and connectivity is very important to strengthen each of the groups.
Yeah, I would say knowing the plan, knowing the plan as I know it, that would be the second objective. But which will also include the communication hub. Which is how to explain? It would be like but that would be pretty much an internet communication with the internet system itself, and this is how those communities will communicate with one another. So it's funny. If one second back,
Okay, Viking, your line is very bad there. Sorry, I'm gonna have to. Can you move or get to do something about your connection? Have a look into that, and I'll let other people make a comment while you're trying to sort that out. We'll come back to you in a minute, okay? And we'll check your line again.
Okay.
That seemed okay there. Try it again.
How is it?
Yeah, that's working now. Whatever you've done.
Well, okay. So should I repeat what I said? Or?
Yes, please.
Well, okay. I'm going to address the comment. So all the communities, which I'm going to call cells, the way they will communicate with one another, that will be through the communication hub. I know that's been presented yesterday, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it again because, as Conor said, not everybody has watched it. I watched yesterday's interview, so there's going to be something like, let's say, like I would imagine Telegram or Discord, which should be an absolutely free speech platform. But of course, of posting or anything of the kind. But this is how the communities of cells will communicate with one another. This way is if one gets attacked, the others can retaliate, which also creates bonds and solidarity.
Okay, Viking, that's not working. It started okay, but just deteriorated. Last week, I'll call if you want to answer the questions or comments, go for it.
Yeah, be honest, I couldn't really catch he's saying, just like really blurry. Yeah, I believe I can't comment anything. Like I would say a couple words about different subject when the Viking is finished, but at the moment I have nothing to add, to be honest.
Okay, what I meant was to come back on the questions or the last round of questions or comments from the others, not from Viking himself, but from others. So I can't remember what they were. So if you want them to repeat the questions, if you can't remember or didn't get them, that's cool. We can have them repeated. Or if somebody wants to come in with another solution, go for it.
Hi, Conor. I just want to say hello to Sorrel, and I just want to say good woman. My hat goes off to you because I'm exactly the same. My position is I will not wear a mask. I won't comply. I haven't done since day one, and I won't. I haven't had any sort of resistance or anyone coming up to me and asking me why I'm not wearing one. I have had an elderly gentleman who has commented on my lovely smile, which was nice. The next step for me would be I've already contacted a lot of MLAs up the north. No response from any of them. So my contact is actually more with people in the south because there doesn't seem to be anything up the north. This afternoon I did discover that there's something on Saturday, the Stormont, 1 o'clock every Saturday. So that's progress. The next step for me would be stickers, which I've already, and posters, which I've already sorted out with the Ireland and lockdown group. For me, it's more talking to people and taking that opportunity to raise the questions as to why you're wearing a mask, the lockdown, and just do it in love. I do it with a smile on my face. And I think that's just what everyone has to do. They have to take that step up, that courage, and that courage to be disliked. You know, it has to get to that point where there's a line. And for me, that line was drawn a long time ago, you know. But hat off to everyone who's getting out there and speaking and making an effort, because everything makes a difference, you know.
Thank you, Shaz. Thank you for that contribution. That's appreciated. So, any other comments on the solutions that we've had so far?
No, my hat was off to Shaz, who's gone a step further than I have. But I agree that a smile is so much more powerful than, you know, the anger and the abuse and the disgust that I've witnessed, and thankfully only experienced to a small part myself. I'm not quite at the speaking to people stage, in that I usually get a bit tongue-tied in a confrontational situation, and I always come away from it and think, God, you know, I should have said this or I should have said that. So my next step, it will be, you know, I know somebody who I've asked, you know, to coach myself and a few friends on how best to respond. So we have the coaching practice and, you know, the role play practice. So we're able to deal with more confrontational conversations.
Yeah, and you're going to get that everywhere. I think the tide's going to turn a bit, and which it already has. I don't know about where you live, but I live in County Down, and it's a small town by the sea. And when this first started, there was hardly anyone wearing a mask, and it was quite good to see. But I must admit, I mean, my local garage, which is a Spar, I would fill up my petrol and get lots of bits and pieces. I'm the only person, and I'd say I'm the only person within a radius of about a mile, which is quite disturbing. And today, sitting at the traffic lights, there was a teenage boy about 13 or 14, and he just drove past me in his bike with a mask on, and I just looked at him, and I actually felt like crying. It really, really got to me, because there's so much mind warping with children and with everybody else. And the thing is, they're not being told proper information. And when people are standing in a queue and they're looking at you and they're wondering why you're not wearing a mask, it's really just taking that opportunity to talk to them, just to have a really just a small chat with them, and see why they're wearing it, and talk to them. And I think that everyone's scared too. I think that's the problem. Everyone's scared to take that step.
It could be, Shaz, because I haven't been standing in any lines like that. I must admit that I would do my shopping at a time I know is quieter, so I can just go straight in and get it done. But having said that, even at that time of the day, the shops are very busy. But I always, in a shop, very well, I would be, of a matter of course anyway, be very polite and friendly and smiling and things like that. But I think I'm making more of an effort to do that, to show that it's normal not to be wearing a mask.
Correct. It is.
But I think the problem is, at this stage, there's an element, certainly amongst younger girls, and I've seen this, there's an element of virtue signaling and fashion combined in the mask wearing. I was just as an aside, I do apologize if I'm taking this time, Conor. On Saturday I was in Stephen's Green in Dublin. The vast majority, I would say about 98% of the people, were not social distancing, were not wearing masks. It was a sunny day out in Stephen's Green, and it was as close to normal as we're going to get at the moment. Now, if somebody had pointed this out to everybody, that you're not following the rules, I think they would have been a bit shocked to realise that they weren't. I think that the thing is, there's an element of virtue signaling, particularly in the shopping and public transport and buildings sort of area. But once out in the open, in sunshine, all sort of semblance of conforming, goes out the window.
Yeah, roll on the summer.
Okay, guys. Okay, very good. So let's keep it solutions focused, or activity focused. I mean, when I say solutions, that can include individual actions that we have taken, or that we intend to continue, or we would continue if we could, or plans. Well, let's anybody got any plans for next actions? Maybe something you plan to step out of your comfort zone.
I'm definitely going to work harder on connecting up with people, because it's the individuals like yourself, Shaz, who might feel very, very isolated. Just to meet, actually get out, meet up with people in public. And I would say I've now become a public hugger, and I don't care who sees me, and I will continue to do that, and shake people's hands in public, just to show that I'm not afraid, and that I honestly don't buy it. And given that in the last 12 months there have been X number of protests or rallies, or and guess what? Nobody has died because of it. There was no spike in mortality, and this is what I keep reminding people of: is any of these large groups of people not wearing masks, there has been no spike in mortality afterwards as a result. So like that, it's just reminding people of the reality and the evidence that they cannot argue with.
Great, great. Yes. So strategies for talking to Joe Public. What works? What do we find works in terms of talking to Joe Public? What has worked? What feedback? What
Well,
do we find it easier to talk to friends?
usually I ask. I pose open-ended questions like, isn't it odd that, or what do you make of this? I can't, could you tell me, how do you explain this? I can't understand this, and try and get the person to work through the thought process themselves, rather than sort of feed them, evidence.
Yeah, make them think, plant the seed.
Yeah. As I said, I'm not the best person to do this, and I sort of do probably need more of this myself. But it's really, as I said, this is something I get away with, is I sort of pose the innocent questions. So I can't understand, after all of these, protests last year, we were told hundreds of people would die or be in hospital, and that didn't happen. What's all that about? Things like that, sort of asking questions to point out the as I say, the bleeding obvious.
Great. Okay,
then it's interesting to see.
Go ahead.
I've finished.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna put forward something that I saw in a video, in a little clip from Italy. From you may have seen it yourselves, but I'm gonna with you. By the way, I'm recording this, and with your guys' permission, I'm gonna put this up on YouTube. So text me afterwards if there's a bit that you want me not to, if you want me to take out your contribution or your name or something like that. But it won't be, people won't see people won't see this screen. It'll just be like a still, and then the audio basically. Okay, so I was going to say yes. So for whoever's listening now and whoever might be listening later on, and who might not have seen this, there's a video of an anti-lockdown rally in Italy, and it's a very visual illustration of the power of the media. And basically, there's a team of people coming walking up like zombies with cardboard boxes on their heads with the TV channel logos, with cardboard boxes like made up to look like a TV, with the mainstream media logos on the side of it, and they're sort of like walking along with their arms like zombies spaced out. And it's a very has anybody seen that? It's a very effective visual communication of what too much mainstream will do to you. And you can be what I'm saying is, okay, so if we take the rest of the minute, compare that with like walking with a banner like the media is the virus. That's okay, that's cool, that's going on one channel, the logical channel, the textual channel. But if you've got, you don't need, there's no text with this, but you can interpret it. It's easy to, you get, even somebody who's sitting on the fence, anybody who's watched any theater, any physical theater, and can pick up what's going on in theater, in puppetry, because the communication is clear that these mainstream channels will turn you into a zombie. I think it's, you can spot that, you see this coming, and your eye gets attracted to it, because like any form of drama in the street, especially if there's more than one person doing it, does arrest you. Yeah, so I'd love to see, it'd be interesting if anybody takes that up and runs with it in this country. I'd love to see that. I'm in London myself, so I can't get involved in any of the Irish rallies, but I'd love to see that. So I'm going to propose that somebody finds that video and takes that on. So, round of questions.
I have
questions
no
or comments?
questions, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it sounds like a good option. However, just as an FYI, the Gardaí, certainly in Dublin, have got very nasty to what I would term, if they see vulnerable
Okay.
pedestrians, be they.
So I'm just gonna stop you there. We're gonna make comments that are going to forward. The idea not to criticize it or judge it in any way. Yeah. So just be careful with that one.
I see nobody is commenting. Like I jumped in the middle of the conversation. Yeah, I saw that video. I think those videos with the idea with the kind of TV boxes on your heads are absolutely amazing. Also, I wanted to mention, yeah, with the white rose stickers, it's absolutely amazing. I actually just yesterday joined the white rose on the Telegram. They have so huge let's say collection, not collection, with those stickers. They are like really small, which, yeah, as the girls were saying as well, like you can put up them on the poles. What I was doing lately, it was the where you pay for the parking, because you have to read everything, like where you putting your money, where the ticket is going to come out, and if that sticker is there, you can't miss it. And like, yeah, and the children's playgrounds, it's absolutely amazing. And yeah, it's not really advertisement, but like, yeah, White Rose do the small ones, the big ones. They are not expensive, and actually on that group you can find the people who already have those stickers, like thousands of them, and they would happily post them out to you. So yeah, amazing. They do an amazing job, and it's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay, any more comments? Oh, welcome, Padfa. I think I know you from a different place. I think we've corresponded before. So I'll just leave the floor open for anybody who wants to give another solution or comment favorably on any of the solutions that have been put forward so far, or ask any questions to get more information on any of the solutions.
I would just like to commend Sorrel on having almost instinctively hit on the perfect way to trigger someone's questioning of the prevailing narrative, not by telling them what the answer is, but by encouraging them to ask the question and answer it themselves. I thought it was I think you're underestimating yourself, Sorrel. That's just all I want to say.
Very good, a very encouraging bit of feedback there, Sorrel. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, a little bit too Sorrel. Yeah.
No, thanks. I
Would you like to
appreciate
respond to that, Sorrel?
But
Or anybody else?
yeah, no. I'm just saying thanks for that. But I'm usually the worst judge of my own behavior. But as I said, more often than not, I leave a conversation wishing I had said something a bit more pertinent or a bit more appropriate. But it's as I said, I find it diffuses anything by asking the innocent, or what I term as the innocent question.
You've actually hit on an ancient method of opening up a dialogue. It's called the Socratic method, where you open the door and invite somebody to walk through. So the hardest thing of all to achieve when trying to engage a person is to break through the fear. And one of the problems with fear is that it generates an emotional state where people are so wrapped up in the fear that they don't stop and think. But you're giving them an opportunity to think because, like you say, you ask them an innocent question that requires them to think about an answer. Well done, you.
Well, to be honest, a good amount of the time has just resulted in the fear coming out in the form of anger.
Yeah, but from what you've told me, you do it instinctively where you remain calm, you remain pleasant, you continue to smile. Anger and fear dissipates if there's nothing feeding it.
True.
No, that's some very good feedback there. The good thing I hear, Sorrel, is that you're reflecting. Between action, the way to get better as a practitioner in anything is reflective practice, where you go out in the field, you take on an active practice, whether it's like your profession or a hobby or some activism like what you've been doing there, or a cause, like cause isn't the right word, or something that you believe in, and you try it out, and you're going to fall down. You're going to fail a lot at the start. Failure is like what is it? Success is a what's that term? What's that aphorism for failure?
Well,
Sorry, for success. How success is loads of failures, like one after the other. There's a lot of failures before you get to the success. You
well,
have to.
I just learned to fail better every time. But yeah, as I said, I have to learn to fail better, for the next time.
Yeah. Or if you start getting fed up with that, maybe try something different. I certainly think getting yourself connected into some sort of a group. Have you been out to the castle, by the way?
No,
you were the one who said you can.
I have actually. I have been invited, but I had to turn the offer down, and I'm sort of going to crank everything up a notch and say, look, I'm going to throw my evenings, or many of my evenings, into being way more active, because as you pointed out at the start, what we're up against is an infinitely funded professional organizations and plans. So that's why the weather is nice and the evenings are brighter, so I have no excuse to be sitting in here every evening and doing nothing. I should be out there being a bit more active. If it's meeting up with groups, whatever.
Fantastic. It's social, apart from anything else, and at least you'll be among like-minded people. And it might be a machine and well-funded, but it's not as if there aren't factions and schisms there. Any group of people that comes together, they're always like, there's nothing is ever monolithic. It's that hierarchy is never perfect. They're dealing with human beings as well. At this stage, okay, who knows what's going to happen with AI in the future, but at this stage, they're human beings themselves. They're dealing with human beings. I prefer to see it as like a system with a certain amount of automation going on, and a certain amount of hypnosis, or the whole idea that 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 people are pulling all the strings, because that isn't how human being. It's impossible to organize human beings to that degree of lockstep, because we're human. So it's more a consensus of ideas where various factions have come together, and one faction will their interests will coincide with another faction, and they'll say, okay, let's work together to to keep the hoi polloi, keep to improve, maximize our profits, and make sure it lasts for as long as we can.
But definitely, as you
Anyway,
said, Conor,
it's not important about them.
Yeah, the main thing is getting connected, spending real time with like-minded people, because apart from anything else, it's not only, you know, good for you emotionally, it's also good for you physically, spiritually, mentally. You know, that has, you know, been probably the biggest cause of depression amongst people, is the complete isolation. And I speak as somebody who volunteers with the elderly. I've seen what it has done to the elderly in the last 13 months.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
It's you know, it's working its way down to you know, younger and younger people. And this is, you know, enough is enough. So for me, the whole time, the number one thing is getting out, being with people. You know, it doesn't matter if it's raining outside, it doesn't matter if it's windy, it doesn't matter what the weather is. Get out there, be with other people.
And that's why I'd love to see the small local events happening every week. It's been suggested, and there's a Telegram list, a group of Telegram groups where there's a county meeting suggested for every Saturday. That you could like rock up to that, and like if there's 5 or 10 people, it's not so much a protest or a rally as much as a get together. And then you could, you know, when you get together, you could go and deliver a few leaflets or whatever, or talk to people. But a lot of people need that. People need that solidarity at this stage as well. So that's good. Look, it's even being, you know, have you spoken before? Have you spoken on a voice chat before like this? Sorrel?
No, I certainly haven't.
There you go. Well,
no, yeah, sorry, I missed. Sorry, I missed the last bit of that you were cut off.
No, yeah, sorry, my connection probably. No, big shout out to you for stepping up and pushing yourself and getting out of your comfort zone, and believing in that growth mindset that you could do, you know, that you could. And how does it feel? How did you feel before coming on, before speaking, and how do you feel now?
Well, to be honest, I mean, it's part of my work that I have to speak in front of groups of people I don't know. So it makes it a bit easier this time round, because I can't actually see your faces. It's very difficult stepping up in front of a bunch of people all staring back at you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well done. So, go ahead. Somebody was going to say something.
Yeah, can I add something to this?
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I totally agree with your conversation before. I just wanted to mention another thing. It's about the connecting to other people and talking to them and stuff like that. We have to remember as well, I believe many of you came across with the activists who are burning out after 13 months fighting for this. They, like, my idea is what I'm doing actually as well, like to take the private contacts, not only the groups and sharing the information, but just time to time to some of your contacts which you didn't see for a while or didn't answer to you or something, just like say hello, how you doing, and you're doing great. There is so many posts time to time coming up that they are so down because they don't see any changes, because actually we are at the point where we was 13 months ago. Not much changed. Okay, we woken up many people, but some people are just so tired of fighting, they're giving up, and it's important to keep track with them as well and to make sure that they didn't disappear just because of the Facebook block or something, to take the contacts and time to time ask them how they're feeling. That's one of the part what I wanted to say. And another part, yeah. At the protests, many times you can see there is like kind of like just standbyers. They just looking at what's happening. And that's what I'm doing at the protests. I'm approaching those people. And many times, especially like last Saturday, it was the biggest number. I met 6 people first time being on the march. They didn't know what's going on or who is organizing it. they just wanted to come over because they heard somewhere there is something happening, or they just was passing by and, oh wow, this is something that I like to hear. But they are very shy. Many people are very shy. I'm actually shy. I don't like talking to people because of my English is not that good. My nerves are giving up on me. But like, I always try to go to those people and try to start talking to them why they are here and how they could get involved, and like to just make friends and to support them, so they see it's not just everybody is standing there and listening to the speakers, but we actually pay attention who is joining us for first time and support them to do that.
I'd like to comment on that solution there. That you're so whether you knew it or not, you're actually putting forward a great solution, a great activity, which is to become conscious of that people are in this movement at different levels, and to be conscious of where they are at the level and try and help them along, and not expect too much, not push them too far out of the comfort zone, but at the same time giving them an opportunity to step out of the comfort zone. So by going to speak to them, like that they could have like turned around and got all ran off, but you give them an opportunity to speak, to reply to you and have a conversation with you. Some might have just given you the time of day and then got too confronted and wandered off, but someone would have accepted your offer of a conversation and had the conversation with you, and hope maybe many of them did, and those people benefited from your presence, and you've done, you've moved. They'll be less nervous. The likelihood is they'll be less nervous about coming along the next time. So that's a fantastic thing that you've done, Ifrita, and that we can all do. That's something that it's very much within those of us who are attending, and those of us who are thinking about attending a rally can do so in the knowledge that there are people like Ifrita. I would do the same, and that's reminded me of the importance of doing that. Not because I don't need to go and talk to people that I'm already in contact with and talk to 100 times before. When there's like so many, especially if you see somebody who looks like they need it. But if you are one of those people who's one of us come over and talk to you, it doesn't mean that you look like you need it. So that's my caveat.
Yeah, well, but that's coming back to what Gus said already before. Smile goes far. If you approach people with the smile, even like actually the person doesn't like what they're hearing,
sometimes
or
I find that, as I said earlier, that even a simple smile can change somebody's day. Even when I'm out walking, I make a point of smiling and saying hello and nodding to people as I pass by. And if they have a dog or something like that, I make a comment about the dog, or something just to sort of hook in and start a bit of a dialogue, even if it's nothing more than a nod and a hello. Just as an example, once when I did this, woman walking a young puppy, when I was moving on, she the last thing she said to me was, "Thank you very much for stopping and talking." Nobody does that much these days.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, we need to keep that. That's the way to win hearts and minds. That's the way to make our life, enhance our life as well.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
I think both Sorrel and Ifrita, I apologize, have hit on to something really, really important. Human beings are social animals. They shrivel up without social contact. And I won't say it's a biological imperative, but it's been developed over millennium of evolution. And my personal belief is that this lockdown situation and trying to isolate people and break the bonds of social cohesion is backfiring, because people need people. We need to be with other people. And I would hope, as Sorrel said, if you smile at somebody, they'll smile back. If you say hello to somebody, they will say hello back. Well, most people will. that is a powerful instinct in human beings. And it's something I believe that the, how can I put it, powers that be have underestimated. And I would sincerely hope that that would generate a momentum where our natural instincts to be social can be a trigger to change the narrative, change the paradigm. That's it.
That's, you know, I would completely agree. And I just want to sort of give a flag alert. I'm going to make a sexist comment here. This is something that women actually have the better opportunity to get away with than guys, because, you know, and I've spoken to this to guys I know, and they say, you know, a guy coming and saying hello, you know, is slightly more creepy, and you know, with the passers-by than a woman doing it. Particularly, as I said, I can get away with saying hello to people with dogs, to the elderly, to, you know, people with children. I can get away with saying hello to everybody, whereas guys probably wouldn't have that option without sort of being concerned about being thought a bit dodgy.
There you go. Natural femininity, doing the womanly thing, creating a safe, friendly environment. Fantastic. Great.
Conor, if I may, sorry, I'm a bit late to the party.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just finding it quite short. Sorry, go on, mate.
You're familiar with the okay, since I think I know who you are, and you're very welcome. We're talking about solutions, and the rule is we don't criticize solutions that have been put up so far. We comment on them, and we ask questions to get more information, and we we either put forward a solution ourselves, and we take 2 minutes to do that, or we build upon the solutions that we've already heard.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree.
Okay, brilliant.
I just find it it's very telling that we're having to re-establish our social skills after a year of lockdown. I find that quite extraordinary. But I mean, going back to a communication point earlier on, as was said, it's simple communication. It's the avoidance of, shall we say, confrontation, and re-establishing that old art of conversation with people. Just open up a simple conversation with people, and just simply with gentle probing questions. Keep the language quite mundane. Otherwise, people will retreat. But I'm still stunned at how, like you say, just the simple act of smiling and saying good morning to people has become quite a revolutionary act almost in recent months. It just it struck me at that point. You know.
Thank you, man. Thank you, and you're very welcome. Now I know it is you because I've heard your voice before, so you're very welcome.
No, we've
had a few trolls trying to raid the thing, so they impersonate other people or people that I might know, and even myself. So I'm always a wee bit dubious when somebody first speaks.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, we've when it was on Ralph's Discord, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna we've hit 8 o'clock there, so I want to keep it to the 7 to 8 every day. So please come back tomorrow. I'll be opening this up again. If there's any bits that you want me to remove from the recording, then text me within about 12 hours before I put it up. Otherwise, it's just going to fire it up. It's not going to be the video with your name on, or with your channel. Sorry, with your Telegram. It's just going to be the audio with a still. And great. Thank you very much for your participation. I think that was again very fruitful. Thanks for sticking to the rules. I think that's a good structure. The structure seems to be working well. Try and if you're coming back tomorrow, try. You know, it's not mandatory, but try and have a solution. While an activity. It doesn't have to be the solution that solves everything, just something that moves the action forward. in terms of confronting the lockdown, confronting Agenda 21, national sovereignty, anti-globalist, anywhere along that line. Yeah. Okay, so I'll say good night to you all. Thank you very much, and hopefully see you tomorrow.
Right. Thanks, Conor. Chat to you soon.
Take care, guys.
Nice, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.